Hey, what you playing? Gohan? Oh, so you have chosen death. Hey everybody, it's Spear here, and today I'm here with a tournament report because, again, your boy ended up topping with Invoker. Mind you, I recognize these are just webcam tournaments, but after I talk about how my day went, I think I earned feeling pretty proud about this TopCut earning. But first, I want to give a quick shout out to TopCut for hosting a great tournament, leading the charge in terms of doing these webcam tournaments. And obviously, that's not the easiest thing to do. There's a lot of work behind it, but they did great. It was a smooth day, long 7-hour day, mind you, but it was a smooth tournament and it went super well. So for those of you who don't know, throughout the month of September, they're doing the webcam Premier TO tournaments, and that was already announced a while ago. But now Bandai has decided that all top 8s from every tournament throughout September will be qualified for a tournament in mid-October. So odds are this is probably going to be like one final wrap-up tournament to end off the year, kind of replacing what Nationals would have been. And while I don't think the prestige is anywhere near at the level of Nationals, I do think it's, you know, it's at least something that we get to look towards and work towards, at least as a season closer. And then we'll see where the 2021 season takes. So I took Invoker again, shocker. Why did I take Invoker? I think it's a really powerful deck. I love the fact that it's really hard to interact with how we're killing you. And honestly, it's just the deck I have the most experience with, the most matchups. And I'm just super comfortable with the deck. Do I think my build's the best? No, I think there's a lot of, there's a couple of changes we can make, especially with where the meta's going there. And that I'm going to give a bit more of a thought on my, I'm going to do a meta analysis this week, just so that you guys can get ready for what you're going to see within the next 3 weeks of these Premier TO tournaments. But a lot of aggro is just what I'm going to spoil it with it right now. So we're going to take a quick jump at the deck list, and then I'll talk about what I went against. Very similar to my top 8 list that I played with last month. So I'll put up the little eye there if you want to check that version of the deck list. My only change to this one is I added another topo, and I added a We Are Universe 7 just for extra redundancy. Funny enough, We Are Universe 7 is actually something I think I would remove from the deck. We Are Universe 7 is great if you run more combo. So if you plan on comboing your cards more to getting them back. So another Invoker player, Anthony, actually ended up finishing first place in TopCut tournament with Invoker as well. And he runs We Are Universe 7, but his reasoning makes more sense. He runs Cooler in his main deck, and he combos away a lot of his 10k combos regularly enough so that it's worth getting them back later for the kill turn. Makes sense. I just figured maybe I wanted some more search in the deck, or maybe I wanted to recur something that was in my drop area later on, but turns out in best of ones you really don't need it if you're not running like a cooler package on top of everything else. Besides that, it's really no different. Like I said, we went up a topo, and I think that's pretty much the only real change we made to the deck up until now. Moving forward, what changes would I make to the deck? I keep the 4 topos 100%. I think the meta is so aggro right now, you need to see your topo. If you don't see topo, odds are you're probably dead in the wrong matchup. I would get rid of We Are Universe 7, and I'd probably get rid of my last Instinct Surpassed. While I love having the option of a third alternate win con, in the last, I want to say 2 months of me playing the deck, I've never had a matchup where that's the way I'm trying to close out the game. So many decks have ways to just say you can't attack anymore for the turn, that committing to it just to end up, killing my entire turn when I could just burn them to death instead. So do I see some usage for it? Yes, but I think the usage I would see for it would be in a best of 3 world. I think right now he fits best in a sideboard, just for the reality of the meta we are right now. So I would take out that We Are Universe 7, and I'd probably add in another Whisk Coercion, or potentially and a Master Roshi, or have that ratio flipped. Maybe 2 Master Roshis and 1 more Whisk Coercion. Just because negates are something you really want to see in the deck, and the Master Roshis do double duty, because then you can negate and then you have a Universe 7 on board to be able to rip a card out of your opponent's hand, which sometimes could be super key when we're talking like, let's say, a Gohan matchup, or you're able to rip away a Feat Kamehameha or something like that. But we're not going to dwell too much on the deck. Like I said, it's very similar to my top 8 list. If you want a more card by card in-depth reasoning as to why I played what I did, then again, you can just refer to the top 8 video, and I give you more of a breakdown as to every single pick I made. But for the most part, this is a pretty generic Universe 7 list, nothing too crazy. So let's go over the routes. And this is where I think I earned my bread. Because as much as it isn't the most competitive tournament, it's still the things I had to face. So round 1, we played Bulma against Robert Rietz. he ended up going first and he aggroed me really well. He played the matchup really well, made sure that I couldn't get to my turn 3, and I just didn't have the topo or the defensive options to really survive. So, or he killed me turn 3. Yeah, I was able to board wipe, but by then I was already down to such a low life total that it didn't matter after that. He managed to aggro me and close out the game from there. And then this is where the rest of my tournament gets really interesting. Round 2, we face Vegex. We end up going first, which is great. We're able to establish Invoker, and at that point, we have such an insane value engine in terms of the Sleepy Boy techniques and seeing all of our negates that we could close out the game with, was it Bert? No, we closed out the game with an SCR by the end of it. Just recycle all our negates, use all our cards, roll a condemnation, set up our drop, and then go for the turn 5 kill turn. Round 3, we play against Gohan. Worst matchup. I told myself I didn't want to see this matchup whatsoever all weekend. But okay, so we face Gohan, and this one is a mono green version, I believe. So we're going aggro. He pushes. On turn 2, he tries to go for the kill turn. However, I'm able to manage through with enough negates to be able to win the game. And you're gonna see a theme here because my round 4, another Gohan. This time I believe was the blue-green version. So this is the one that goes for more of a longer game, right? If you're not able to kill with the leader, then maybe you're gonna be able to push through with a decent amount of the board. So again, here he goes for, I believe, turn 4. On turn, we're managed to stabilize until turn 4, which is really great. Invoker has a terrible matchup against Gohan until you can get to turn 3 with Invoker on board and you still have your Awaken. If you can Awaken and have that one untap energy with like a D magic, that's when you're golden, because now you can accrue so much value. Almost your entire deck's online and you can really defend yourself as long as you see the right cards, naturally. So against blue-green, we end up negating his leader swings. Very early on, he decides to use his Awakened Leader's Activate main to restand, at which point then I know I just need to defend the rest of the battle cards because I was able to negate that attack. So we negate, rip out all his resources. He actually does a really good job of putting pressure regardless of that. I think even after his leader swings, he was able to get another 6 swings with a bunch of battle cards between the Belmonts, all the free play cards, Overrealm. So great amount of pressure. We were just able to push through with a bunch of negates. Round 5, we went against Mono Blue Soul Striker. So this list ended up running the 3-drop. Actually, I believe I have him right here. So this list ended up running the 3-drop Unison that we got from the champ packs. Great card. Honestly, dual attack is super powerful. And even though he never used his -1 ability, just the ability to keep pressuring with a 20k dual attacker is actually super annoying, especially for Invoker because we don't have real combo power and we don't have battle cards aside from like Topo that can really start aggressing into it. Lucky enough, he ended up playing the SCR Gogeta, which did accrue him value on that turn, but thankfully because I'm such a negate heavy deck, he essentially locked out the rest of his plays of his entire deck. I will say though, that's also again where the Unison was super powerful, because even though he's locked out of battle cards, he still has a 20k dual attacking Unison, which is super annoying. However, being locked out of the board, and I was able to clean up his board after that, with a Sleepy Boy I bounced off his last Abuni, and now it's just that battle card. From there I was able to negate and just really push through until I was able to burn for game. So that one was really just to say, like, it's a double-edged sword, right? That SCR, because while it's super powerful, it does a lot of things and it can thread for game. I think you really need to make sure that it's the last thing you can try and do, because locking out your board will probably lose you the game. Round 6. So up until now, we're 4-1, feeling super good. Round 6, we go up against Gohan again, and here it's pretty. Like, something that I've learned after being, playing a couple of Gohans and really being prepped with the matchup, don't be afraid to have to Awaken early. Odds are if they're putting on so much pressure on turn 1 and 2, it doesn't matter if you get to your turn 3. So put all your bets into defending and hoping that they go all in for it. So for round 6, ends up attacking into us, getting a super low life total. He goes first, and then we're on 2 energy, and we're really feeling the heat here. And then effectively, so we already have a Topo on board, and at this point I want to bait not having negates. I have a dimension. I'm at 5 life. I have dimension magic and Topo in my back pocket, so I know I'm able to defend a couple more the last 2 swings because he's pretty much tapped out here. So he goes for the swing, and here I decide I want to bait out the leader untap because I'm not going to win if I go to my turn 3. I can't. I don't have the amount of pressure. I don't have my awaken available anymore, so I want to be able to make sure that he's able to go and push me. Goes in for the swing, I let it go, take the triple strike, fine, act like I got nothing, and then he goes for the leader restand, and that's when I know I got him, because first we dimension magic, prevent that attack from happening, and then he only has a 4-card hand, so he plays a card, ends up swinging over, and then, so then he swings with the battle card he has, and then and then with the energy I have left, I play my second topo, and the second topo guarantees the turn shutdown, because now that's 4 cards they need to pitch to be able to swing into me. So with that, it means he no longer was able to attack. He only had 1 swing, at which point I had my topo combo to combo over it. No more cards in hand, and that was game. And that's very similar to my last round. Round 7 ended up going against my final Gohan opponent, and very similar. Actually, almost the exact same thing that happened. I believe they went first or I went first something, but anyways, we're on 2 energy, and I go topo first. I end up negating again, and then I'm able to go for the second topo. And both of these were able to be done because I recognize that I either awaken now or I'm never going to be able to awaken, and I'd rather at least give myself the shot to be able to push through all these defense, draw into more negates, than being super down on resources. Because also you have to recognize that if they rip out enough cards in hand, it's a reality that I might not be able to awaken. Because I'm a surge leader, I need 2 cards of 2 specific colors to be able to awaken. And if for whatever reason, between Cells, Earth Shattering Kamehameha, some Android 18 super combos, odds are I might not have the cards to awaken. So I want to make sure I do that early enough that I have enough cards to work with in the late game. And same thing, double topo for the win. At that point, my opponent just couldn't attack, and we close it off that way. So in this tournament, I ended up going against my worst matchup 4 times. And I was measuring my heart rate, guys, and I was chilling at 140 BPM like almost every single match. It was crazy. I will say though, shout outs to my opponents. They were all great guys. I had a great time playing all of them, and we had great conversations after the game. So big, huge shout out to all my opponents. I know it looks like I'm just harping on the Gohan players, but it just, I really just want to go show that, like, hey, the tournament was great. I had a great experience and a great time. So my quick thoughts on the meta. While this isn't going to be like a full meta analysis, my take for it is that aggro is huge, and because of the nature of these tournaments, we are going to see more aggro decks. We are going to see more Vegex and more Gohans, a lot more Gohans than any of the other tournaments we've seen before, and that makes sense, right? Before the shutdown happened and, you know, all that stuff with the world, a lot of people ended up picking up Gohan as a great cheap competitive option, you know, for the Vegas tournament or for tournaments locally, and it is still a great option because the deck isn't super expensive. You don't need an insane SCR that's hundreds of dollars, and the deck can just win out of nowhere on turn 2. Because of this reality, I think going throughout the rest of these tournaments for the rest of September, as well as for the October Invitational, expect to see Gohan, and a lot of it. While I know the tournament had a lot of Vegex, and the tournament had a decent amount of Bulmas also, that did decently well, expect to see Gohan. It's a crazy good deck, and a lot of people own the deck. A lot of people love Gohan from beforehand, and a lot of people picked it up because of the cheap competitive deck. So you have to tune for that, especially in best of ones. That's why I hate the best of 1 variants, right? Because either you see the negates and you win half the time, or you don't. So it's a tough call. But just my quick thought to say, if you're going to be playing in these tournaments, keep that in mind, because it is going to be a threat in quantity. And actually, something to consider for the deck. While I did say I would take out We Are Universe 7 and Instinct Surpassed for more Whis Coercions and Roshi negates, another thing I considered also is Instinctive Reprisal. I used to run it in my Vegas list when I was worried about Gohan, and now that I'm worried about Gohan again, I really want to use it because it makes sense, right? It's a negate that I can use and then get back on turn 2 in case I don't see any other negates. So with my leader ability, on turn 2, my leader ability is completely dead because every single blue-red extra card that I play is unusable defensively on turn 2. That would give me at least an additional option to be able to use defensively in case I just can't find anything else. And as a bonus, that if the board is established properly enough, it's a negate that can prevent 3 attacks. And that on its own is huge. So it's something to consider moving forward. Last thing, I streamed the entire tournament, so thanks to everyone who supported me throughout the tournament. It was a fantastic showing. I took down the VOD because I was a little bit careless, and there's some sensitive information on one of my browser pages that showed up. So I'm going to be re-uploading the VODs throughout the week. I'm going to break it down by matchup, so I'm going to have an entire Gohan video and then the three other decks I played afterwards. But I'm going to be spreading that out throughout the week, and I'll be sharing it here. If you want to catch my streams, I stream every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. EST. So links will be down below if you want to catch me on there. And that's that. Like I said, I'm going to do a more in-depth meta analysis in the middle of the week. But this is just to give you guys a quick report on what the tournament looked like. We ended up finishing 4th place, getting ourselves the invite for the October Invitational, and getting us that extra prizing. I wasn't even going for the extra prizing, but you know what? We got it, and it felt fantastic. With that said, you want to catch all the videos that I'm going to be shooting out in the rest of the week, then go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If you thought the video was great, then give it a thumbs up. Hey, if it's bad, give it a thumbs down. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Ciao.